the one thing that I've been ready to talk about, and I feel like it's fitting, fresh on my mind since it happened yesterday, January 1st, recording this on the 2nd. It'll come out the 3rd. But it was kind of weird that I kind of like the big games on like the 31st as opposed to like the 1st. That's just me. But it's just like I don't know, like you have Washington beating Texas like as the New Year's coming in. I don't know,
coming to
man.
the end.
I
Yeah,
just felt
yeah.
like that's a little more magical than the day after. But
I feel
nonetheless,
you. I feel you.
our guy, Michael Penix Jr., who we were vying for not only like when he was a finalist, but all season,
Hmm.
we thought he got robbed of the Heisman Trophy. And I feel like he thought the same thing. And he came out and he put on a show against the Texas Longhorns. I mean,
Dude, he was slinging that thing, bro.
whew,
Slinging that. I couldn't tell you how many times I was just watching the game, just going, "Wow," or "How did he do that?" Like it was just pure masterclass. Doing it
yeah, man.
against Texas too. I'll credit to Texas too for coming back and making that a game towards the end. And overall, just a bigger step back. Two great football games going down to the literally the final play for both of them. That was great, but especially after watching like kind of mid performances from Milroe and McCarthy, it was great to see finally like a quarterback performance in a college football playoff. And man, he did not disappoint, putting all the doubters and haters to rest really right there, showcasing it all. I love to see that, especially Penix too.
Yeah.
I mean, heartbreaker against Indiana, Penn State way back in the way, but all those knee surgeries that he had to go through, the turmoil of transferring, finding a new home, and really just shining. It was heartwarming for me to see. So congrats to Washington, congrats to Penix, but that was a fantastic football game.
Definitely. Definitely. Yeah, he's doing all that with like no ACLs.
Yeah.
Dude literally doesn't have any ACLs in his knee. Like, this is a guy who, I don't know about you, but I thought he was like done. He transferred to Washington. I thought he was, you feel like the Pac-12 is going under. They had a resurgence this year. But because of that, I was like, he's kind of just going to become a misfit. He might get a late round selection, but the injuries are kind of always just going to be the story with this guy. And then he comes out this year and just turns it around. I mean, it helps that he goes from, Indiana, who, let's face it, they haven't had talent in years, to Washington, who's, I'd say top 5 in the Pac-12 in terms of talent.
They're loaded. Yeah, their offense is loaded. Their defense is great too. Yeah, like it's a damn good Washington team.
Yeah, he goes there and he just puts himself on the map in in the best way possible. I mean, he had a little bit of a run at Indiana that one year before he tore his ACL, or that might have been the shoulder year. The dude's been so banged up. But when it was like Indiana was like number 5 or number 6 or something, and they were going against Ohio State, and I remember that was just a big, huge hype matchup. He didn't come through, but it's cool to see him like come this far. And yeah, man, you said he was slinging it. Like his anticipation, his ball placement, precision, it's A plus. Like he wasn't near this good at Indiana. And I guess that's kind of just what not only experience, but when you get a better situation around you, that's kind of you can blossom. Like the broadcasters would not stop talking about how well he was handling the pressure. And I was like, well, duh, because he freaking he was like in the trenches, like he's in like the war at Indiana, like for 2-3 years. And he comes to Washington, he's got like, it's nothing. It's not him. That's the experience. But man, I think he made himself a lot of money, and he's going against a guy who I think is going to get somebody fired in the NFL because they're going to overdraft the hell out of J.J. McCarthy.
Well, before we get into that, so where would you rank? Would you put Penix as your number 1 quarterback on the draft board? Way too early draft board.
You got to put Caleb there.
Okay.
I think a lot of Caleb Williams flags are a lot like CJ Stroud. Like you have everything on the field that's there that you could want, but then you're just like, well, the test scores. Well, Ohio State quarterback. For Williams, it's like, well, with leadership or well, crybaby or whatever you want to say. I just don't think they're that legit. Like the dude is like you see what he's doing on the field. Like if he has any semblance of a competent defense, like he's in the playoffs. Like if he had Penn State's defense, like he's in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Like even with Penn State's wideouts, I think he's just that good.
Agree.
So yeah, I think it's got to go Caleb. Penix might be my second.
Might be second.
Yeah, I think Penix is my second.
Over the Heisman.
I was gonna say Daniels. I also like Drake May, but I think he's a guy who. I mean, shit. I said in the Christmas episode that New England should. I think he'd be a good fit in New England, but maybe that's just me, like I don't know, stereotyping. But I think Daniels is, man. He was good. He put up numbers. He was. You
just don't. Something about you don't trust him. Don't trust him.
Something about like Penix is a guy who's like you need it mentally here in the NFL, and he's just been a guy who's battle tested, like came back from injury. Then there are the injury concerns, like yeah, I guess so. Maybe in that case I bump Daniels up one. I think Penix is he's probably a couple of years older than Daniels too.
Yeah. Penix is on the older side.
So yeah, maybe I put him at 3.
Okay, that's fair.
But I just think he
moved up a couple spots.
A legitimate prospect.
He definitely moved. Yeah. He definitely made teams think about more of like, well, maybe we should take him because I don't want another team to take him now. He definitely definitely turned some GM heads. I mean, rightfully so though. That dude was slinging it